it to court. It was held under seal for 5 years. And you know, when it was under seal means you can't even say you have a case. You can't get a lawyer because the government's considering going in on a whistleblowing case. And if the government comes in, then they take everything, and then they use the DOJ, and they use everything. And we've talked to the FBI literally since I got out of jail. And I hired a lawyer when I'm literally, if just my career's over. I've hired a lawyer to defend me from the FBI, because the FBI turns it around on you and says it's your fault, you did that. And I just know that because I grew up in Washington, D.C., and that's all discussed in the book. So
who was the director of FBI at that time? Was it Comey, or was it in 11? Was it Director Comey?
I have no idea. I think it was because he just lost his 15-year career retirement. And see, that's what they've threatened Frank Rossetti of. We'll fire you before the end of the fiscal year for fraud in your original science paper, and you and your wife will lose your 75 years combined retirement. And I said, Frank, I'm already under the bus, roll over me. But he kept his promise because he's taken care of me since and funded and so that we could continue. And that's the last chapter of the book. So Frank Rossetti's an honest man and a scientist with integrity as well, who taught me, and he refused the same order that William Thompson has, which is throw away the data, burn all the samples so you can never track what this plague of corruption. And that was again November of 2011. So I'm held in jail, and you can follow the science articles from John Cohen and Martin Enserink. They said, oh, we're not part of the scientific staff. We're the op-eds. We just write. We're freelance writers, and we don't belong to the journal. And they wrote 22 articles. Beleaguered Institute keeps grants. Oh, okay. They just got paid. Same thing with Bob Silverman. He got paid. His paper was retracted. They apologized to him because his honest mistake was, when it's withdrawn, it's considered an honest mistake. When it's retracted, it's considered fraud. It was retracted. It wasn't an honest mistake. He took the bait. He took the buy off and the payoff, and let Judy Mikovitz and Frank Rossetti take take it. And so again, they're just, that's what that story's all about.
That's intense. Now but by the way, 2011 is very different than what happened in 2004 when you were forced to file bankruptcy with the whole perfect score, $10 million, 3 houses, boats, and everything you had, right?
That's 2014.
2014. So that's 2011. Then you have 2014. Now, 2014 and 2011, do either one of them have anything to do with Dr. Anthony Fauci? Any influence with him at all?
Well, yes, both of them. Because
in what way?
Tony Fauci is NIAID. They funded our $5 million of grants. So again, in November, I think it was November 15th of 2011, Tony Fauci sends his grants administrators, and one of them's names was Kathy Laughlin. And they sent them to the Institute days before I was arrested, while they were, I was hiding. And he says, and he goes there to make sure all the records are in order. We have everything. Okay, you keep your grants if everything's in order. So he sent, his grants administrators to the Institute and checked the box saying it was all in order. Because at the time, they had no idea Max caught them in the act of the burglary on September 29th, the day before the end of the fiscal year. So we were going to rewrite history, much like William Thompson. Take those notebooks, write it in other things. We didn't do anything wrong. Here's the research. We didn't misappropriate funds. And so Anthony Fauci sends his grants administrators. He's the boss. You follow the money. He came in. He says it's all in order. It's all there. And all of a sudden, the big, oh my God, when they filed this civil lawsuit to me on November 4th, they had already filed a civil lawsuit saying that I stole their intellectual property. And one of the patients was a lawyer, and I needed to reply and send the letter in before a certain time the next day. And she was a lawyer. She wrote it in legal terms. She filed it and she proved I could not possibly have done what they said I did. And I'm sure that was probably one of the funnier days in my life. The collective, oh, no, where's the data? Where's the data? Where's the information? We thought we set up the perfect crime. And so that and then when they couldn't find it, when they did their fake warrant, they came to my house and they came to the house of the person not far away who faxed it for me because I didn't have a fax machine. There were no computers in my house. There was no notebook. So even with this fake arrest, they ransacked our house, looked at everything, went to our friend's house, pushed her in a chair, held her there, couldn't find it at all. And so, they held me in jail until they could plant the evidence, extorted my then 73-year-old husband. You find it or she never goes home. You find it. They've held me there without a charge, without a lawyer, without anything for 5 days, trying to Epstein me. You mentioned this, trying to Epstein me, trying to get me to kill myself. You're there trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and it's not a pleasant situation. And my husband, he can't talk to me. He talks to me once, and you can see through both books how they set this whole thing up. And all I had to do, they had a bail hold. I couldn't even post bail, which was $100,000. I'm not a murderer. I don't have $100,000. And the bail bondsman in the first book said, I did this case on a signature because I knew how full of shit it was. I knew innocent people have no idea. They think our system works. They think they have due process. They think, and that's exactly what I said. What did Tony Fauci do? Oh, he told, he put a warrant out at the NIH. If I step foot on NIH property, I'm a fugitive from justice. That was still at Fort Detrick, November 15th, 2016, when I went there. So yes, where was Tony Fauci? He was the puppet master. He was directing the money. He was directing Ian Lipkin to do the now multi-center study because they have a little problem with the blood working group. It's only 16 people. That's not a failure to confirm, that's fraud. And every one of those people should have been finished in their careers. On that paper, it actually published November 11th, and I didn't know that till 2 days ago. I thought it published on September 29th when I was September 22nd, when I was standing there giving the talk about the paper. So I could see how they carried out that threat from that phone call of September 4th, 2011, from my email of August 31st. So I have a paper trail because I was told once, never put anything in the body of an email, put it in an attachment because that's not discoverable. But my training from growing up in Washington, D.C. was the minute he told me that, I asked myself why, and I put everything in the body of an email. So part of what they had to have was all my emails, all my computers, because Tony Fauci wrote the emails. I couldn't fly over NIH airspace